Welcome, dear listeners, to a sanctuary of stories and melodies where imagination dances with serenity. This is Urban Sweet Spots, Read Aloud and Chill series, a haven where timeless tales unfold to the gentle cadence of calming beats. Today, we immerse ourselves in the enchanting world of The Frog Prince, a classic tale brought to life by the brothers Grimm. In this series, we fuse the magic of literature with the embrace of tranquil rhythms, creating a space for you to unwind, rejuvenate, and find solace. As the day winds down and the stars begin to twinkle, let the synergy of words and melodies take you on a voyage of inner calm. The Frog Prince invites us to explore themes of transformation, kindness, and the unexpected. So, dear listener, settle into your haven, dim the lights, and prepare to be captivated by the soothing blend of narration and harmonious beats. As we embark on this journey, let the worries of the day melt away, replaced by the warmth of the story's embrace. Let your imagination unfurl its wings as you surrender to the embrace of relaxation. Thank you for choosing to join us in this world of tranquility and wonder. As we delve into the Frog Prince, may your heart find comfort and your mind drift into dreams. So find your cocoon of comfort, close your eyes, and let the tale and the melodies guide you into a restful slumber. Let's begin. The Frog Prince by Brothers Grimm. In the olden time, when wishing was having, there lived a king whose daughters were all beautiful, but the youngest was so very beautiful that the sun himself, although he saw her very often, was pleased every time he looked at her. Near the castle of this king was a large and gloomy forest, in the midst of which stood an old lime tree, beneath whose branches splashed a little fountain. When the day was very hot, the king's youngest daughter would run into the wood and sit down by the fountain. And when she felt dull she would often play with a golden ball, throwing it up in the air and catching it as it fell. On day when the king's daughter threw this golden ball into the air, it fell on the grass and rolled past her into the fountain. She followed the ball with her eyes as it sank into the water, which was so deep that no one could see to the bottom. Then she began to cry, and as she cried, a voice called out, "Why weepest thou, O king's daughter? Thy tears would melt even a stone to pity." The king's daughter looked around to see whence the voice came, and there was a frog stretching his head out of the water. "Ah, you old water paddler," said she, "was it you that spoke? I am weeping for my golden ball, which has slipped away from me into the water." "Be quiet and do not cry," said the frog. "Perhaps I can help thee, but what wilt thou give me if I fetch thee thy ball?" "What will you have, dear frog?" said the king's daughter. "My dresses, my rings and pearls, or the golden crown which I wear?" The frog answered, "Dresses or rings or golden crowns are not for me. But if thou wilt love me and let me be thy playmate and sit at thy table and eat from thy little golden plate and drink out of thy cup and sleep in thy little bed, if thou wilt promise me all these, then I will dive down and get thy golden ball." "Oh, I will promise you all those," said the king's daughter, "if you will only get me my ball." But she thought to herself, "What a silly frog. Let him remain in the water with his equals. He cannot play with me." As soon as he had her promise, the frog drew his head under the water and dived down. Soon he swam up again with the ball in his mouth and threw it on the grass. The king's daughter was full of joy when she again saw her beautiful plaything, and picking it up, she ran off. "Stop, stop," cried the frog. "Take me with thee. I cannot run as thou canst." But all his croaking was useless. Although it was loud enough, the king's daughter did not heed it, but ran home and soon forgot the poor frog, who was obliged to leap back into the fountain. The next day, when the king's daughter was sitting at the table with her father, eating from her own little golden plate, something was heard coming up the marble stairs. Splish, splash, splish, splash. When it came to the top, it knocked at the door, and a voice said, "Open the door, thou youngest daughter of the king." The maiden rose and went to see who it was that called her. When she caught sight of the frog, she shut down the door again and sat down at the table, looking very pale. The king saw that she was in fear of something and asked her if a giant had come to take her away. "Oh no," answered she. "It is not a giant, but an ugly frog." "What does the frog want of you?" said the king. "Oh, dear father, when I was playing by the fountain, my golden ball fell into the water, and this frog fetched it up again because I cried so much. I must tell you that I promised him he should be my playmate. I never thought that he would come out of the water, but somehow he has jumped out, and now he wants to come in here." At that moment, there was another knock, and a voice said, "King's daughter, youngest, open the door. Hast thou forgotten thy promises made at the fountain so clear, 'neath the lime tree's shade? King's daughter, youngest, open the door." Then the king said, "What you have promised that you must perform, go and let him in." So the king's daughter opened the door, and the frog hopped into the room right up to her chair. As soon as she seated, the frog said, "Take me up." But she waited so long that at last the king ordered her to obey the frog. As soon as the frog was placed on the chair, he jumped upon the table and said, "Now push thy plate near me, that we may both eat from it." And she did so, but as everyone saw, with very bad grace. The frog seemed to relish his dinner, but every bit that the king's daughter ate nearly choked her. At last, the frog said, "I feel very tired. Wilt thou carry me upstairs into thy chamber and make thy bed ready for me to sleep in it?" At this speech, the king's daughter began to cry, for she was afraid of the cold frog and dared not to touch him. And besides, he wanted to sleep in her own beautiful, clean bed. But her tears made the king very angry, and he said, "Never treat with scorn one who has helped you in time of trouble." So she took the frog up with 2 fingers and put him in a corner of her room. But he hopped up to her and said, "I am so very tired that I shall sleep well. Do let me rest on your pillow." but she threw him against the wall, saying, "Now, will you be quiet, you ugly frog?" As he fell, he was changed from a frog into a handsome prince with beautiful eyes, who after a little while became, with her father's consent, her dearest friend and playmate. Then he told her how he had been changed to a frog by an evil witch, and that no one but herself had the power to take him out of the fountain, and that now she should share his kingdom. So one day, a carriage drawn by 8 white horses with ostrich feathers on their heads and golden girdles drove up to the door of the palace, and behind the carriage stood trusty Henry, the servant of the young prince. When his master was changed into a frog, trusty Henry had grieved so much that he had bound 3 iron bands around his heart, for fear it would break with grief and sorrow. When the carriage was ready to carry the young prince to his own country, the faithful Henry helped the princess and the prince into the carriage and placed himself in the seat behind, full of joy at his master's release. They had not gone far when the prince heard a crack as if something had broken behind the carriage. He put his head out of the window and asked Henry what had broken, and Henry answered, "It was not the carriage, my master, but a band which I bound around my heart when it was in such grief because you were changed into a frog." Twice afterwards, on the journey, there was the same noise, and each time the prince thought that it was some part of the carriage that had given way, but it was only the breaking of the bands which bound the heart of the trusty Henry, who was ever after free and happy. As the story of the Frog Prince gently fades into the whispers of the night, we find ourselves at the end of another chapter in our Read Aloud and Chill series. I hope this journey into the world of enchantment and relaxation has brought you the tranquility you sought. Remember, this series was crafted to be your companion in moments of repose, where tales entwine with soothing beats to guide you into a peaceful state of mind. We hope that you found solace in the embrace of this timeless story and the gentle rhythm of our melodies. Let the Frog Prince linger in your thoughts as you slip into slumber, and may its message of transformation and compassion linger in your heart. As we bid you good night, know that you're always welcome to return to the sanctuary whenever you seek a respite from the outside world. We'll be here, ready to guide you through more tales of wonder and relaxation. Thank you for choosing to spend your moments with us, and we look forward to sharing more read aloud and chill stories with you in the future. Until then, let the magic of these stories and melodies continue to weave their spell, and may you find peaceful dreams in the realm of slumber. Sweet dreams.